So the product livestream happened, and funny enough, we didn't get the things we anticipated, and we did get the things we didn't anticipate it. Because we got more set 6 and set 7 information, also including Lyrical Monasterio. We got a new ban list, and also a brand new Digital Vanguard game.
Stand up! Vanguard!
Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another extra edition of Cardfight Update, and this time we're all about the new updated product livestream. And yes, you heard it correctly, we have a brand new digital card game for Vanguard being confirmed. But before you get a bit too excited, we have a couple of other things we need to talk about and go over before I'm going to tell the details about this new digital game. So first off, the information for set 6. We got some new artwork, and first off we have this one. We already saw this one before because we knew that we were gonna get a new Nirvana. But beyond that, they also showed this image. Yes, that's a brand new Verena with a very interesting new skill, but more on that in a second. Now, another artwork we saw for set 6 is this one. And this is very interesting because that's the boss unit for the Stoichea and Cater Sanctuary trial deck. Which means we're either going to get a brand new grade 3 version of that boss unit in the set, or they immediately might give them grade 4s. We don't know what these cards exactly are, but we know they're a different version from the original counterpart from the trial decks, which is very interesting and very exciting. Now, what I talked about the different skill for the new Verena is because we also have this image. And in this image, we see two new keywords for both units. We see the new Verena having something called XO dress or crossover dress. And then for the boss unit for Cater Sanctuary, we see something called Revol dress. Now, what it exactly means, we don't know. It's somewhat similar to reminiscent of what Claire's sword is, because Claire's deck is Revolt Dragon. But besides the names of these keywords, we don't know what these mechanics actually entice. Now, beyond this new Verena, we also know it's a grade 2. And we also know there's a counterpart to this one, because we have this image. These are two brand new Verenas in this set. So this set is not only going to have a brand new Nirvana, it's also going to contain two brand new Verenas, which probably have very interesting skills. And you also see that these cards are a little bit different because we have new rarities, which is a frame rare and a F frame rare. I don't really remember what the second F is, like flame frame rare or viral frame rare, I don't know. But we have these two new rarities, which also are probably going to replace two other rarities, but more on that in a second. So far, very exciting stuff. I cannot wait what these two new Verenas are going to bring to the table and what this new X or crossover dress mechanic is going to be and what this new Nirvana is going to bring to the table, as I'm very excited for the new overdress deck because you all know I'm a big fan of the red Chrono Jet and I cannot wait to see what new toys I have to my disposal in the brand new set because Tamayura is awesome, but it ain't no Nirvana, Trickstar, and Verena. Now, we also know we're going to get a brand new Lyrical Monasterio set, and the Lyrical Monasterio set is going to follow the same design pattern as set 6 with the reprints and whatnot, and they're also going to include these new frame rare rarities. Now, the only thing is that, as we can see here in this image, is that the difference between the FFR and the FR are very subtle, unlike the set 6 ones where we saw a clear difference between the two. So I don't know if we're going to see a more direct impact in the actual physical cards, but we have to wait and see until we see the actual cards. Now, the reason why I say that these rarities are going to replace another rarity is because we saw the set information for Lyrical Monasterio, and that tells us a very specific picture. Because as we can see here, we see that the set for Lyrical Monasterio is going to basically be a full big booster, because there's 15 triple Rs, 16 double Rs, etc, etc. But one thing that is missing here are the SPs and the hollows. And in place of those, we see the FFRs and FRs. So probably the FRs are going to replace the hollows and the FFRs are going to replace the SPs. Now, is this a bad thing? Honestly, I don't mind this because if they're like literally a replacement of those cards, I think I like these cards more than just generically hollow and SPs because these new borders around them give them something of a unique flair, especially like the hollows. Like the hollows are like your budget high rarity stuff to pimp out your deck, and giving those awesome borders is actually a pretty nice thing to give those cards. So So I'm very curious of how it's gonna pan out and how those rarities are gonna be mixed in with the new sets. But now we get to the big one, the one you've been probably wondering since the intro of this video, the new digital card game for Vanguard. Now what they've revealed is that Vanguard is gonna get a new game called Vanguard DD, and DD stands for Dear Days. And as you can see on this image, it's not only on Switch, it's also on Steam, and more importantly, this game has been confirmed to also get an English release, and the game is gonna be launched somewhere in December. Now, I don't know if we're gonna get a global launch, but if that's gonna be the case, that's actually pretty nice and spicy, because this game will most likely will have cards up to set 7. And if it's a global release, that means we in the West are able to play with set 7 cards probably like a month or 2 in advance, so we can play and test these cards immediately before we even have access to these cards physically, which is pretty damn interesting, and I'm very excited for that potential prospect. Now, one thing I need to clarify before people get a bit too excited, this game is probably not an online simulator like we saw with Master Duel for Yu-Gi-Oh! This is probably the same thing we had before, that is just a simulator with the current card pool, and it's not gonna get like added on. Like we thought, some people were speculating that EX might be that thing, but that wasn't the case, and I'm honestly a bit skeptical if this is gonna be the same situation, that they're not really going to get any updated. We know it's gonna be full standard, so no V premium, no premium, it's all gonna be standard, and they were specifying like 1,000 cards from standard. So this will most likely be like up to set 7, because that comes out like 2 months before December. Maybe like the set after that will still be in the game. We have to wait and see, because further than this is literally all the specifications we know about the game. Now, for the final thing that we have to talk about is the new ban list that they revealed, because they did give us a new ban list for JP. And it's a bit too interesting and confusing at the same time, because the ban list they revealed is this. For standard, they put Darkstrain Dragon to 1, they choice restricted Impulse with Magnolia Elder, then for V Premium, they banned Kokoshigura's for some reason, and then for Premium, they banned Nasir. Now, Darkstrain, I can to some extent understand, because they probably want to rein in Bastion, as it's one of the overperforming decks in Japan. So that's probably the most logical choice to hit, because it negates a lot of the easy boost potential. So they have to run specific cards like the Order or the specific grade 3 that gives them self boost. So I can see that. Now, Inlet and Magnolia Elder is also very obvious, because a lot of players were thinking about potentially restricting those two together, as it makes Magnolia a bit overpowered, but still, honestly, was still reasonable. But I can understand this restriction, it makes sense. Now, what doesn't make sense to me is the V Premium one. Like, I've heard people saying about the potential combo this has with the new support with the new Clan Collection cards, but I'm still not seeing it. Like, Kokoshigura's can have a similar like combo that we've seen with Hamiel, that you can have like a very obnoxious no guard potential with a critical Vanguard, rear guard that can swing for game. The issue is that I have with that is that that combo requires like 4 or 5 specific cards that also need a very specific resources. Like Kokoshigura's needs to soul that's 3 cards, discard 2 Sentinels, which means you need to play with Protect 1 to make it consistent, which means if you're gonna play with the new V Clan Collection card, that means you cannot play Protect 2 with your Evil Decoy token, so you lose that value. Then apparently you need to play Mizukaze, which is another grade 3, which also needs force you to soul blast the grade 3, so you need to get a grade 3 in the soul as well. And then you also need to probably have like something like a Oboro card to make the column actually threatening. So that requires you to have a specific grade 3 Vanguard, 2 specific grade 3 rear guards, have like 4 soul, 2 Sentinels in hand, and a specific grade 1 to actually do that. And then you have potentially like a 80k rear guard that comes with a critical that has to some extent a guard restrict, but still not really, because Mizukaze allows you to play a specific way that you can potentially steal guard with. As long as you allow yourself to be able to perfect guard the Kokoshigura's, you can still perfect guard the attack. So it feels like a very strange hit in my honest opinion. Like, yes, it can be obnoxious, but it requires a lot of setup to make that work, and I'm still skeptical that that's not really something. Like, I am fine if they don't hit this thing, and then people in the international side, in the English format, prove me wrong. Like, I dare players to prove me wrong the moment this card doesn't get hit for the English version, because I'm not seeing the point of actually hitting this card. Nubatara is doing jack shit right now in V Premium. It's Gurgrit and Prism, and to some extent Luard that needs to get in check. And then for Premium, the Nasir, again, I can understand this. We all should understand why Nasir got banned. It's of course Eugene Basnak! Woo! It's probably because Japan has access to these grade 3 critical triggers, and that makes probably this card a bit more powerful in Japan than in the English format. So, yeah. It's a strange ban list because they just ignored Gurgrit, they ignored Prisms, they ignored a couple of things in Premium like Nightmare Dolls, potentially Order Colony and whatnot, and they went after these cards. Standard I can understand, and I think they are legit in what they do, and I think they can keep that in English form as well. I just hope, once we get the English ban list, that they understand that the restrictions on V Premium and Premium don't really make sense. Nasir doesn't have to be banned in the English format because the deck doesn't really do anything. Kokoshi Cross, in my opinion, can also just be unrestricted, as again, the deck, the clan, is pretty underwhelming right now, and that card is not breaking anything anytime soon. Prisms, Luard, and Gurgit, however, are a complete different story. Because if this card, Kokoshi Cross, was actually being hit in preparation of the new card for Clan Collection, why are they leaving Gurgit alone? Gurgit is running rampant in JB from the last time I checked, and Gurgit is gonna get more support with Holy Shit Dragon. So, yeah. I don't know what they were thinking, and I hope they get their act together if we get the English format ban list. And knowing their track record, I think we're fine, because the last time it happened, the English ban list was kind of based. So I hope that's going to be the same thing, and we're going to have to wait a couple of days, probably till maybe tomorrow or Friday, until we see the English version of the ban list. Hopefully they listen to the community once again, and they hit the correct things to make V Premium and Premium the best format they can be, because they just need to hit the specific cards, and every single format of Vanguard is going to be in an incredible position. They are very close to it. They just need to make it happen. And with that said, that's also everything that we have to talk about today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What you guys think of these new reveals that have been confirmed for Standard, as well as the prospect of a new digital game for Standard, and this so-called ban list. What's your opinion on it? Do you think I'm completely underestimating Kokoshi Cross because of a certain interaction? Or do you agree with me that this hit doesn't really make a whole lick of a sense? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, this video has been brought to you by our lovely patrons over at patreon.com/FangTheInsider. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel or everything that's happening on the channel, you can simply go to patreon.com/FangTheInsider and become a patron today. But with that said, I've been Mr. Time Leaf, and I'll see you guys in the next one!